What is up, guys? E-HeroesForged coming to y'all with another deck profile. Today we have the rogue player himself, the magician himself. That's right, that's right. My man Cook today. What were we playing, sir?
So we brought the blind second Turbo Dragoon build to my very first YCS Houston, and we went 3-3.
What were your matchups, sir?
Broke even. It was out of the 6 games, 5 of them were Yugioh and Yugioh variants. I had one random Blue Eyes Primite branded build that we did actually beat. So that were the matchups.
What were your wins against Yugioh?
What
were the Yugioh builds that you beat?
I wrote them down. I beat a pure Yugioh, I beat a Yugioh Fiendsmith, and then another Yugioh Fiendsmith.
Who was the Yugioh player you played in the first round?
The first round we played some loser with Yugioh Sharks. I was not prepared for it. I've never seen it in my life. I have no idea where it came from, and it was the first loss. We went to game 3 to the one and only E-HeroesForged behind the camera. So that was our first game, and it was a lot of fun. 1,400 people signed up. It was a less than 1% chance of that even happening, and it did. But it started off the day great, and I couldn't have asked for a better opponent.
Well, as amazing as the matchup was, the matchup isn't about me. Today is about you.
Sure thing.
You went 3-3 with Turbo Dragoon. No one in the world thought maybe something like that could happen. You brought the confidence, you built the deck. We're ready to see it. Let's showcase it.
Awesome. All right, guys, so this is the deck profile. We ran 44 cards in the main, and to start it off, we ran of course, 2 copies of Dark Magician.
Let me see that. Is that the QCR one?
It sure is. I was debating on bringing these or my structure deck Yugioh from the original decks, Dark Magicians. I settled on these. You guys let me know in the comments below. Did I make the right decision on bringing these?
We love shiny cards.
So I don't know. We do. And with that, we also brought the 2 copies of Red Eyes and the 1 copy of Black Meteor Dragon. This is a clutch card once it's in the graveyard, because you can send it off of Red Eyes Insight, which we'll get into. You can banish it your next main phase and add another ref to your hand. A lot of people caught on to that, so it didn't really help. But these were essentially the 5 main monsters, and most of the time the cards you never wanted to see in your hand.
How did you feel about the ratios, the 2-2-1? Did you ever draw any of the vanillas throughout your matchups? Or?
I did. And even though it was 44 cards, I still saw mostly Red Eyes more than anything that I wanted. I felt like that card was glued to my hand, but without running anything less, because we do have other ways to make a Dragoon after the first one resolves. So I kind of felt like you needed at least 2 of each to make the others after a resolved Red Eyes Fusion.
Very good.
With that being said, we did run the 3 copies of Red Eyes Fusion. We also ran the 3 copies, as just mentioned, of Red Eyes Insight. And that is it for the Turbo Dragoon package. The rest of this is Board Breakers, Stun, call it Dark Magician, I don't really care. People saw Dark Magician and Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and panicked, and that's what managed to get us at least we went even, guys. 3-3. We went even with it, so I'm very happy with it. So after that, we did run 3 copies of Mulcharmy Perulia. An issue I've had since inception of this build is card resources after Dragoon is on the field, right? I never really had enough cards to discard for Dragoon's effect. So adding the Perulia, it helped. I saw it. Something I kept forgetting, though, is after a resolved Dragoon was on the field, I would draw into this, and then I would try to go, well, Charm of Perulia. You can't, because I control the card. My opponents were perfectly fine about it. It didn't matter. No judges were called. But a few times, I think 1 or 2 duels, I was able to get 1 or 2 draws off of it. And then every other time that I played it, which was almost every single time, Perulia either got ashed, or one Yugioh player, a pure Yugioh player that beat me, he just passed turn on it. Didn't even attempt to bait it out or go into it. Didn't give me any draws.
That's crazy.
Which was, I think, a really great move on his part. So we ran the Perulias for the draws. Speaking of draws, we ran 2 talents and 3 thrusts in the main deck. Talents to draw, of course. And if we didn't draw, as you're going to see in the other videos, I always ask my people what effect they chose. We want ref to resolve. So I'm looking at your hand and I'm getting rid of an ash because you're going to see a card in a minute that really helps resolve ref, whether I have this card to see in your hand or not. But I always chose to go into looking into your opponent's hand. And then thrust, we have, just essentially more copies of Red Eyes Fusion or Insight or whatever main spell cards that we're going to play. So that was the copies of thrust and talents. For some board breakers, we ran 2 copies of Lightning Storm. In hindsight, I think I rather would have picked Raigeki. It is nice to have the options of spells or traps, especially with Ryziel. You can get rid of Cross pretty easily with this card, so that's kind of nice because a lot of people put their Ryziel monsters in defense, and this clearly says face-up attack position. So it's kind of a dead card in that sense. So you're always going spell or traps with it, and it did resolve sometimes. We ran in the main. I think this was a mistake. 3 copies of Super Poly. We never used it. I always sided it out. And then into some single cards. This is kind of one card I was talking about, which is the Magical Eyes Fusion. We did use this. We resolved the Dragoon after the first one, and we banished the materials from the graveyard on our next turn. So we were able to get the second boy out, and it was fantastic. Another fusion card we ran was the Fusion Dupe. This never resolved, but it definitely came up because I lied. It did resolve once, and it came up a lot of other times, but people were able to stop it. So we were able to bait some negates, and it worked out fine. So this is how we made our other Dragoons if we didn't have access after the first one was made. A fun card that we ran was Tikaboo. This card pulled a lot of weight.
Bro, that card is crazy.
Absolutely, especially against Forge. Forge had a great combo with Aggregator. He made me, I think I went first, or either you just didn't have anything and passed. And we were able to set up a Tikaboo, hoping to stop him so I can go into my ref line. He went Aggregator and just negated it, and that, I swear to God, that's what allowed him to have the great win that he had. But it was an amazing play nonetheless.
I think in game 3, if I don't make you go first,
right,
I think you probably win that game.
Sure, absolutely. So that was a really fun card that we got to play. We ran, I just sold my QCR for a little extra money. These things cost money to play, but we did run the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Sort of came up. I drew it sometimes, but like I said, Lightning Storm really helped in that sense, so it was okay. And then we also ran 2 copies of Book of Eclipse. Great card to book cards, because this is the part where when we make Dragoon, we can book their stuff, hopefully, and then, pop, swing for game. It does happen, but I sided this out a few times. Yes, it does. It's something that really helps us. We also have the 2 Forbidden Droplets. Never really played them. This is another card that got sided out a lot, and I'll show you guys what I sided it for. But that was pretty much those kind of stun cards, if you will. And then we played one of my favorite cards that pulled a lot of weight, 3 copies of Salesman. So when we know where our opponent is playing, and it helps because we don't play these cards, I know you have an Ash in hand or a suspected Ash in hand, and I know I can resolve a ref. I'm going Salesman, call Ash Blossom, and ref resolves. It was freaking amazing. Another great card that we ran, and these came in right before the YCS, was And the Band Played On. I fully expected to play Ryziel, and that's all I played, even though I prepped for Ryziel and Malice. And the band, yeah, go ahead.
What does this do?
So,
explain to people what
So,
it does.
And the Band Played On states that neither player can special summon monsters with the same level as those they control and the same rank. So, pretty much, whatever level, Blue Eyes with the 7s or Ryziel with the level 4s. Ryziel's all I saw. Once they get one on there, they can't make any more. It's a better Tikaboo, if you will. It's very effective. It happened a lot. People were very surprised to see it, so I'm very happy we decided to throw it in.
Now, how do you feel about making Yu-Gi-Oh players read?
Well, I got bit in the ass, and I'll explain that either in this video or another one about not reading. But yeah, you need to read.
We will circle back to that.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. You need to read. We ran 3 evenly matched. This game pulled a lot of weight, and then we also ran 3 Ultimate Slayers. And guys, that was it for the main deck. Like I said, we ran a 44 card main deck. I think there's probably opportunity before to get it a little bit lower, a little bit more consistent, but I'm not mad at all at what it did.
So before we go into your extra deck,
yep,
you run 44 cards in the main, correct? Yep. And I know you said that you would have rather side decked the Super Polys.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you just wanted to take the Super Polys out to make it 41, or do you think adding 3 more cards would have helped you more?
I think taking them out would have been the better choice, just to be more consistent with what we played. But at the same time, I know I said I expected Ryziel, and Ryziel's what I got, but I also heard whispers of everyone else before the matches even went on after game 1 of what they were playing, so I figured, well, Super Poly might be a good target. It helps with Malice. I expected to see Malice, and I didn't see any Malice. So it was just, a conscious decision, and if I could change it, I would have definitely just taken them out and ran 41 cards instead. So, but to get into the extra deck, we have 3 copies of the man, the myth, the legend, the boy no one saw coming, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And this card, everyone who watches this, you know what it does. It pulled weight, people were stunned, and like I mentioned earlier, my personal opinion, the only games that I lost were the games of prevention. People who stopped me from getting Dragoon on the field, because when I got Dragoon on the field successfully, not once was anyone able to clear him. So that's just my opinion. We also ran, sticking with the fusions, 2 copies of Garua, not just as a Super Poly target, but as a discard to draw 1, because we want to draw on this card. It was really great. We ran 1 copy of the Duke of Demise, Super Poly targets, as well as the rest of these are the Starving Venom, the Earth Golem Agnister, the Mud Dragon, the Predaplant, and a little bit of a wild card, but I was ready for it if we saw it, the 1 Yugioh, the Loving Defender. I practiced that a lot at locals, didn't see it here, which is perfectly fine. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because Yugioh is a motherfucker to deal with. So the 1 link card we ran was the Tri Brigade. This is another Ultimate Slayer card. You send this card to get rid of a link, especially with Malice, and then its Effect Engrave lets you send another card. We send Garua Effect Engrave to draw 1, and it's fantastic. It's a great combo line. For the Synchros, we ran 1 Maolong and 1 Omega. Didn't even get a chance to play these, but they have some really fun combos. They basically bounce cards back, or at least Maolong does, to the hand, and it's really fun. And then the 1 Xyz was the Aggregator. We did send Aggregator a lot, and that was one issue I found playing against all the Ryziel, is this was the only Ultimate Slayer target. So after I did that, and then I had more Ultimate Slayers in my hand, they were essentially dead cards, especially if I couldn't make a Dragoon for discard fodder. So that was it for the extra deck, and let's get into the side deck. So in the side deck, we ran 3 copies of Spellbound and 3 copies of Xyz Encore. All cards that I put in against playing Ryziel, but never saw Spellbound. Used Xyz Encore a few times.
Ban that card.
Ban that card, he says, because we used it against him. It was pretty great. Xyz Encore is a great card. It pulled a lot of weight for itself. The 3 D Barriers, this is another card that we subbed in a lot, and I think I actually used it. You all know what it does. It's a solid card. And for the Malice stuff, we had the 3 Artifact Lancias, and I mean, that was essentially it for Malice and whatnot. And then for the last 3 side cards, we had 2 Imperms and 1 Daruma Cannon for Malice, and that was it for the side deck, guys. Again, we went 3-3 with this build. I had a lot of fun with it. We, I think, kind of proved the point. If I will, I'll toot my own horn a little bit. It was my first YCS, and we went even with a rogue deck. I couldn't have asked for anything more. I had a lot of fun, met a lot of cool people, and learned a lot. And that was the deck profile, guys. So thank you so much for stopping by.
You did well, guys. I mean, you did awesome, bro. Like,
thank you.
Like, when people see this deck, like, they don't fear it. And then when you start just ripping boards apart,
that's right.
And then you throw Dragoon on the field, it's like, man, like, I play Ryziel, and you would get Dragoon on field, and I'm almost begging for you not to negate something to get him to 4K. Because once he gets to 4,000, like, Ryziel doesn't have anything to get over it, and like, the fact that you was able to get 3 wins, especially against Ryziel, was amazing. You should definitely feel accomplished. I'm glad you came on the channel. That profile was amazing.
Thank you, brother.
Y'all be sure to check out Dark Magician Tactics. I'll definitely plug him down in the comment section. So, guys, thank y'all for stepping by. This is E-HeroesForged coming up from YCS Houston. Y'all have a good one. Later.
Bye.